Doobie doobie doo. What up, everybody? It's the baddest dude on YouTube. How you doing, homies? I'll have a good time. I could see somebody was in a bad mood today, and they're always in a bad mood. And then they wanted to, I don't know what happened. They started trying to teach me. First I let everybody learn who the smartest in the room was. Then the next thing I did is just start. Until there was nothing left. And Buddy's like, and it was really funny. And then I backed out. Because that's what you do. You back out. But yeah, I had a good time in there. Buddy Squish did a bodybuilder dab, and I had to go say hi to him. There's certain people in this world you just respect. And you go that next level for the respect for the man. Even though there's people that he hangs out with that I can't stand. They're just too evil. They're bad inside. They're always shitting on other people. They're never in a good mood. I can't hang out with people like that. But I can quickly walk in, be in a room with people like that, and say hi to my buddy Squish. And then jet out of there as fast as we can, right? So that's what I do, baby. That's what I do. Buddy Squish from Squish is Squish is by far the most famous person from Michigan that exists. That's not why I'm friends with him. Turns out I didn't realize that. Squish tells me after, he goes, "Hey, look up. You see that in the background there, Hash?" This is Squish's kind of accent. He's a super cool dude. "You see that there in the background, Hash?" He's like pointing up, and he's got this. It says #1. And then it says something like Ream Cup or something like that. He was in Michigan, there was a festival, and he did a 14G dab. And nobody's doing that in the world, eh? Just him. And he says that to me. He says, "I did the biggest dab in Michigan, bro. Nobody's ever beaten it." And I'm like, wow. I'm like, I told you, I said you were cool, bro, but now I realize you were the coolest dude in Michigan, right? So... You know, there's all these other people, they like to try and think they're bosses and stuff, eh? But Squish has a unique ability that I also have as well. Not on his level, but I have that ability. And some of it, anyway, we'll say that. And Squish is next level. There's not very many people on Earth that are built like Squish, eh? And this is what's different. So I'll give you an example of this. And this is true. Squish must have been around fireplaces or something. Seriously, this is what I've come up with. Squish must have been around fireplaces or something like that when he was a kid. And he built up a tolerance to smoke in his lungs because the guy it doesn't affect him. So he needs to be studied like a lab rat because there's something in Squish that no one else has. And he's probably like the key to finding out what's like cancers and stuff like that. It's probably Squish. So I don't know, Squish, if you're up for it, bro, you should definitely get yourself tested, science projected, because you are a boss. And not very many people are like you, bro. So there's my shouts out for buddy Squish today. You get knob gobblers all over Michigan, though. You got Goliath Gruber and a bunch of gobblers. You know, Goliath is the only person that never sent me anything in the mail. It's crazy. The amount of effort and work and time and I thought for sure Goliath would have sent Hashman something, but no, he's a total goober. Total goober. Toy Soldiers, everything Toy Soldiers sent me was bunk. It was absolute garbage. Wait, oh no. Where's the other phone? It's charging. We have, I actually gave the beans to somebody else. A couple of sets of the beans there, and I was like, because I didn't want any of it. It's all garbage. And people are like, "Yeah, you got wicked stuff." It's because you've never had, like, you're probably on like 16% right now, thinking it's just amazing, because you've never really had anything higher in your life. So for you, your mids, that's all you need, right? My mids come out looking fire, but still, like, I mean, there's still only so much you can do with so much, right? So my mids are my middle of my plant, by the way. I don't know what you're thinking, but all my tops are always my top shelf buds, eh? Y'all are just out to lunch though with the way your terminologies work. People and their minds, you know, these aren't the lingo that's going on has been in place for years. Now you've got people misconstruing the lingo, which I've said it before. What single source is? Most people are absolutely bonkers with the way they talk. They've now taken it and said that single source is just a person who does it all themselves. You dumb shit. That wasn't the meaning behind single source. And, you know, it meant that you have a room full of different varieties and you chose only to wash that single source of variety from your room. Trust me, because you don't grow indoors, you don't even know. Like I could have gone for days on that, dude. I had no intentions of teaching stupid. That's a fact, bro. The facts are I do not teach stupid anymore ever again. If you want to listen, if you want to learn, the number one thing for you to do is not go, oh yeah, I know. If your level of comprehending is, oh yeah, I already knew that. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Okay, so then you do this. Yeah, I know. If that's what you come up with when I say this is what you do, yeah, I know. I guarantee you're fired by the end of the day. I guarantee you don't even last 4 hours working under my, guidance, like my vision. You will fail. You have to soak it up. A person that doesn't go, okay, but why? What is the reason for what we're trying to? That's how you understand that the person's brain is actually trying to work out the path to what is supposed to go on today. If you ask no questions at the end, it shows you're a complete donk. Because unless you have an understanding of what was happening before we sat down and said, this is what we're going to do today. Because I'd already prepped you. But trust me when I say 99% of people don't have what it takes to run a company by themselves because you just don't get the full logistics of what has to go on. That's why in Canada, doesn't matter where you are, in America, cannabis companies around the world are folding right now. Folding. Because they're run by parents. They're run by the moms and the dads that said no to drugs back in the 90s. Now these parents are running cannabis shops for the last 16 months. You went and got a new vehicle with a higher payment that you can't afford because it looks like on paper like your last couple of years your business has been doing better. It was just the initial. Now the market is flooded with companies to choose from that offer a better product than you at a cheaper price. So what happens with this year's crop? You get no one to buy it off your store shelves. You go bankrupt overnight this year. So Canadian cannabis companies, American cannabis companies are in grave danger right now in Canada and America because you are operated by people that never did this in the 90s. They didn't grow with what they had in their pockets. You grow with a loan you got from a bank in a facility that's way over your head. The second you got your second loan, you are now way over your head. Way over your head. You don't think there's problems. You got a second loan on your business that you couldn't keep afloat off the first loan. Think about that. Get out right now while you can. Sell me your facility, you will, for whatever, you're going to get that. The bank is going to foreclose on you and it's going to get listed and it's going to get scooped up by people who are in cahoots with the bank and had this, you've been on their radar the whole time. The bank sees what you're bringing in. The investors from the bank go in and they swoop in, and real estate investors swoop in off of the bank's recommendation that, it's coming time, this person won't be able to make their next month's. Do you have your money ready for next month's auction that we're going to be doing? And this is how buildings right now are getting stolen right underneath the good people. So I can think of a restaurant right on the corner. I'm not going to say where, but it's near us. and it went out of business during the pandemic, and it sat vacant for months, right? Months and months and months. So that's just one that's like literally, there was hundreds of businesses in Winnipeg that all folded. Almost all the restaurants now, I don't even know the restaurants. All the restaurants are different restaurants. All the pizza joints are different pizza joints, except for like the two pizza joints that are owned by the mafia in the city. You know, people just don't understand the way the world works, but I do. You think a flag shop is the only place that you can get cocaine from a delivery service here in Winnipeg? I guarantee you there's about 40 places here in the city that are quietly selling cocaine through restaurants on delivery services Friday, Saturday night, or every day of the week, for that matter. They did a drug test here in Winnipeg. The police did a friendly drug test. Everybody had to get breathalyzed or drug tested, and they didn't end up in jail. The police pulled you over a couple Christmases ago, and they tested you for drugs. 50% of all the drivers on the road tested for cocaine. 1 in every 2 drivers tested for cocaine in the city. I've never done that in my life. So there are problems in the city that are much higher than, you know, this city used to be so worried about skunk. Skunk was like every old person in the city, because they're stupid, they think people who are smoking weed are worse than cokeheads. See, they can't see that their brothers and their sons and their uncles are snorting coke before they come over for Thanksgiving dinner, because it doesn't stink while they sit at the table and act like a total goof. But what is stinky is, you know, what's legal. It's legal in Canada for any person of age to possess and blaze cannabis in any part of Canada. But parents that live in Canada still haven't gotten it through their indoctrined, by design, corrupted by the government, and this is not a loving way of seeing family, young people, is to you glare at them, you spite them because they smell like skunk. Do you know in Jamaica, the most revered, the most wonderful people in Jamaica are the Rastas, who smell like skunk? It's funny how Jamaicans here in Canada, not all of them, but a lot, if you smell like skunk, they'll tell you that you stink. Do you know if you told a Rasta he stunk in Jamaica, what would happen to you? Tread lightly with the baddest man on YouTube. You should. Your comments of evil don't, you don't even understand. I could easily find out where you live. You're on the internet. I could find out easily where you live. So don't come on YouTube and act like a fool. Don't troll people. Don't make people go into deep depressions. If you see a creator going live and you troll them, and I see you trolling them, I will find you. The repercussions of a troll's actions are devastating to the human mind. YouTube takes it upon themselves to do very little, if not nothing, to protect creators here on YouTube. I have taken it upon myself to defend all who do not spout racism, who stand tall for the plant. I don't care who you are. If you're doing a good deed, if you're sharing information about the plant, if you got a little group and you're having nightly chats about the plant, I love you. If your main goal is to be disrespectful, rude to a grower on YouTube, I will find you. I won't make a YouTube video of it when I find you. No one will know. Only you. Let me tell you firsthand, there's many trolls. I've fixed their wagons already. To date, 7, 8, or 9 trolls. Major problems on YouTube. They'll never be back. Never. Do you know why? Baddest man on YouTube. I have family in Michigan. I have family in California. I have family in Florida. I have family in Las Vegas and Arizona. I have never talked about. I have, family through marriage in California. Very, very prominent family members in California through marriage. We will find you very, very, very quickly. Very quickly. Please, you don't know who I am. And I told you all this 6 years ago. I said, fucking tread lightly on here. You could be in a lot of trouble. And here we are 6 years later. Not a fucking troll in the chat for 16 months, bro. But see, some of you are on your last warning from police, right? So you've had your own little, you've doxed each other 3 times, you and your 3 little bitch, group members you've fallen out of love with in your community. You've doxed each other back and forth 3 times. You've had the police, it's, when I see how many people are acting a fool on YouTube, you're ruining what could have been a good community with your spite and your evil. You're no different than the people that are busting growers. Your mentality is evil. Your intentions are evil. So you're not a community full of growing and that wants to learn. You're a fucking community of old men that grow shitty weed and Hermes. And then you share your hermed out crop on YouTube, and you got other people with your shitty weed, right? So just remember, you're not the greatest grower on YouTube. I am. To all those people going, look at the size of these buds, and your buds are literally the size of my pinky finger, you forever will be immortalized as jokes. Do you know how big my buds are? My buds are this big. I've showed them before, and my buds are this fucking fat and this long. None of you grow good big buds. So sit down, park it, and remember, I climb ladders to crop out. What are you doing? What are you doing? Bro, one of my plants is more than your entire life's worth of growing. Your scraggly buds you're counting as buds are bunk. Baddest man on YouTube's here to tell you. So yeah, I came on here. I'm a legal, I represent myself very well. I don't care if I come on harsh for some of you. The reason I come on harsh sometimes is because there's a level of disrespect here. There's a level of disconnect here even. So it's disrespect and disconnect. You're not growers. You're actually beggars. You beg for you're in someone's chat to try and win a gram of weed. You go in someone's live stream to try and you super chat someone from Michigan so you can get a fun pack of candy and a gram of bunk weed. That's what you do. So you're not a community of growers. You're a community of people trying to win a fucking prize from a carnival. You're circus clowns. At the bottom, at the end of the day, if you go into a stream full of clowns and you purchase a candy apple from them, are you not a fucking clown too, bud? I see the people on YouTube and they're like, oh yeah, oh that guy grows, yeah. And it's like you guys start hating on someone with mob mentality, and then you call yourselves a community. When I meet up with the people from Ontario that I got a grudge with, you're gonna be wishing that I didn't have a YouTube channel, is all I can say to you. But it's high time that these people be outed in every way, shape, and form, you know? I want to film people that live with their mom, that say they live on their own. I want to show their mom lives with them, you know? I'm going to sit outside and wait till they gotta walk their little Marmaduke or whatever they got. Their mom bought them for Christmas 14 years ago when they totally used to wet the bed, right? 45-year-old man living with their mom is a joke. So, you know, to all those people out there, if you're 35 and 45, it's time you move out of your mom's basement. It's time you move out of grandma's, right? 35-year-old men living with grandma. It's high time. So, like I said, I come on YouTube, I'm a boss. Lots of you just don't understand what it means to be a boss. Well, you're watching. I know you don't understand, but watch enough of the show every day, you'll learn some form of bossmanship, you know? Bosses are forever. And, you know, unfortunately, cowards run. Cowards cower, right? Cowards are weak. Bosses... Do you ever fight a coward at the end of the game, or do you only fight bosses? Hey, is the person you're trying to defeat at the end of the game? Are they a boss, or are you fighting a coward? Right. So you'll never be the character at the top echelon. If you're a coward, you're just sitting there at the bottom. You know, if you cower, if you don't stick up for your woman, you're a coward. But there's a level you stick up to, though. You just tell a person, you know, without pounding them, you can just tell them what they are. And then if they aggressively come at you, then you defend yourself. But first, if someone's bothering your woman, you walk right up, you stand in front of them, you look them in the eye, you breathe into their mouth, into their nose, you let the words really seep into their head while you're standing about 1 inch from them. And you express to them what they are. What you think of them entirely as a life form or as lacking in a life form. And at that very moment, two things will happen. They will either cower like the bitch they truly are, or they will make a mistake. And then you will correct their mistake. And once it's corrected, your chick will never have a problem with that coward again. Trust me when I tell you, this is coming from first-hand experience. A man who's dealt with many a coward in his time. Hundreds of cowards. You know, this is something that most people, you got to understand this. I've been in over 110, maybe 150 altercations easily in my life, in my lifetime. There is about 7,000 close call altercations that they didn't want a piece of the hash man. The other 110, major fuck up on those dudes' parts. Major. So, remember, I give you a second, a hair of a chance before it's no longer able to happen. If you cower and show your true colors, you can walk away. As long as my chick is okay with it. Which my chick is the nicest person in the world. There's a lot of people in this world, though, that this Halloween, a lot of men, this Halloween, a lot of people that claim to be men need to dress. You need to dress up like a man this Halloween. So you know what it actually... So here, this is what I look like. This is what I wear. I wear a vest. You need to dress up this Halloween like the hash man. Do you understand? Listen, for the first time in your life, you're going to feel what it's like to have a huge dong. 7 bananas, organic bananas, just load them in there. Get a few zucchinis, a few waffle irons, pack it in there. Remember, you cannot be me. But But if you tread lightly and you do not let me off, I'll let you walk away